Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're with us on this Friday morning. Got a big show lined up and hoping everybody getting to stay dry and getting ready to do some outdoor stuff in these windows of opportunity we do have. Let's get started with our weather, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard, and a hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. High today, 77, low 67. Not much movement there as far as the temperature. Our all-important pure water temperature, brought to us by Alco Electric out of Lynn Haven. It's down to 77, dropped another degree, 2 degrees in 2 days. Our river reading brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. You know what's going to happen. Right now, the Apalachicola is reading a 5.6, not much movement, but the Apalachicola is going to be determined by what the dam they do with the dam at the Jim Woodruff Dam in Chattahoochee. If they let all those gates open, or part of the gates, and that formula they use it's a secret formula, really. They don't let people know about it. When it gets a certain level, they'll open certain gates. We always want to do a show there, but they want us to bring a camera. Okay, but Chattahoochee is at 3.3 this morning, and of course you know what it's doing. It's going to be going up pretty strong. Our fish and game time, let's go and do those this morning. We're looking at 9:28 to 11:28 this morning, and tonight 9:48 to 11:48. That's brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers. And our tide chart, we're in neap tide. Look, this is an interesting tide. Today is May the 9th, and like I said, we're in neap tide today. A little bit of tide tomorrow. Next week, super tides, and then next week pretty strong. And you know what struck me was the month of May. There's only like 4 days, really, 4 to 5 days of neap tides for the whole month. The rest of the month of May is full of strong tides. It's really interesting. Our wind direction coming out of the southwest at about 5 to 10. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Before I get started with the pictures, I was just telling Jeff about it's sort of been a tragic week for outdoor activity here in Florida because we've had 2 deaths, one by a bear attack and one by a gator attack. Very unusual for either one of them to happen, but for both of them happen in the same week. It's just amazing, and it's heartbreaking to the families and all. And it's just, you know, the thing about it, we don't have bear hunts, so people won't have bear hunts, but we do have gator hunts, and still, there's so many gators out there. So just, you know, they're in a kayak, and you know, in like 2.5 feet of water. I mean, you know, that deep, and it's just the gators came up. So it's just, they just have to be careful and always be aware. And try to stay safe. I don't know all the details on the bear attack, and it killed a dog too. But anyway, just be aware of it. Okay, let's get into some cool pictures. I want to start off with this funny one. It just hit me funny. This is a raccoon in the garbage. I'm not judging you, but I have noticed that you throw away a lot of salad while the Cheetos bags are always empty. All right. Now this is a tournament coming up over on the Chattahoochee River, the Good Old Boys Bass Tournament. I don't know much about it. I just saw it online, and we're going to share it with you. And there's some phone numbers on the bottom. It will be at the Highway 81 General Tackle Store in Bruce. Everybody knows where Bruce is, so just stop by there and ask them about it. It's $120, and it will be all kind of prizes and all. So that's going to be Saturday, May the 24th. My buddy Rusty Russell, Rusty played ball for me way back in the day, and he's got grandkids now, so he took his grandson to they moved down to Orlando, around the area, to be with their daughter, and he took his grandson to daycare. This was at his grandson's daycare. Speaking of gators, that's scary, isn't it? That's all right. What you doing, boy? Fishing. I got to get these guys on the show. They started a group, a fishing group called "What You Doing, Boy Fishing," and this is hilarious. But anyway, and they local guys, and they are good fishermen. Okay, but anyway, if you're out in White City, be on the lookout. There are some manatees in there. With a full-day adventure yesterday, we seen a manatee, a big one. First time ever seen one this far up. So just be safe on the river. So watch out for those. When I was a kid, we didn't have bottled water. We had a garden hose. And we'd drink some of it, then put it on top of our head, let it run down our body. All right, this is the catfish tournament I had last week. I haven't had a chance to cover it yet when I had Alan Shepard and Justin on the show. So here we go. First place winners are Jamie Lee, Lewis Nichols. Second place, Andrew Sumner. Third place, Ken Keel and Ken Thompson. And the 50-50 winner, Thomas Thompson. And they give all that money they take in, they give all of it back out. And here are the pictures. I don't have the names of who everybody is, but this is at the Bristol boat ramp. Is this not some big catfish? I just marvel at the size of these. There's Ken right there. So this was, they got the fish Saturday night. They came in early Sunday morning and weighed them in. There's Alan right there on the right. I marvel again at how well at what outdoorsman he's been, and big bucks and big bass and now big catfish. That's great. Look at that, a double header. Nice boat landing up there at Bristol, right on the big river. One more. Okay, here we go. This is Gary Giddens. He said, okay, hey Winston, wish we could clean up econfinement management. When yakking, as always, I pick up trash. Thank you, Gary. Today I was rewarded with this Leatherman. Never know what you'll find either. Daughter said I caught dinner and found lunch. Yuck, this is Gary Giddens, Washington County. In other words, this is trash, look at there. He got a nice Leatherman. Somebody threw out a beer can that wasn't even open, and then some Viennas. Okay, you throw the beer can in the trash, put the Leatherman in your pocket and eat those Viennas. All right. I want to get more detail on this, but it's a good comparison. This was starting in 2012 and then in 2013, and it's on the St. Joe fishing page. And okay, so this is 2012 here. I'm not exactly sure of the location. Of course, I'm looking for Black's Island on the shoreline, and I'm not really sure. But anyway, that's the grass there, and then and that's a lack of grass. It's losing some grass, but I've got to get more detail on it. But I do want to let y'all just be aware of it. And the reason I'm talking about that, because we have scallop season be coming up later on this summer, and so many boats are out there now with people not knowing what they're doing. We'll talk about this every year. They'll cut through those grass beds, and you can see the marks. And especially now we have these rental pontoons and all these kind of things in all of our bay systems. And these folks, they we talk about it all the time. They really don't know, and they don't want to get stuck, and they just put a hammer down and just cut through the grass. So we all need to sort of help educate everyone on that. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We talked yesterday about the Mother's Day gifts, the top 10, and I always enjoy doing the top 10. I did run across one last night I did not get to mention, so I'm going to show it to you now in case you haven't bought the Mother's Day present. So here, this is just great. This is a classic right here. Surprise her with something special this Mother's Day. Say, honey, I got a surprise. Open your eyes and look, you got a new bass boat. You think she'll be tickled with that? Okay, so anyway, I want to again wish all the Mother's Day, all the mothers a great Mother's Day coming up this weekend. Hope everything's working out great. Okay, my good buddy Carl Andrews. Carl is a great outdoorsman, and he's part of our, he and his wife, the 5 couples that get to go doing all kind of outdoor stuff together and some dinners and all. So love Carl and Daryl. And so he went floundering the other night with his brother. Check this out. Good job. Hey, went floundering last night with my brother Charles Andrews on the 5th. Got my limit. Got those new LED lights, work great. He texted me, wanted to know about where to get those LED lights, and I sent them to him, and they work great. He knows what I'm talking about. Here they are right here. Is that not great? Good job, Carl. I know they ate every bit of those. I didn't get the call when y'all ate them. Here they are, cleaned up, washed up really good. That's one of the surprising things now, all the big flounder coming in. This is cool. Okay. This is good. Good memories often have a hound in them or some kind of dog. Thank you so much, Powell Adams. Powell sent this to me, and he's so true. It's so true. I'll show this again because it looks like a repeat. Lisa and Donnie Chapman, Now they went Sunday after church, remember? So I showed that 2 days ago. So he went again before the rain came in. Oh, this is Choctawhatchee River. I caught 33 keepers at the river. It was just one afternoon, okay? But he didn't have a picture. Look at that bottom line. He saw a huge banded water snake. He didn't like me trying to tie up to the stump where he was lounging. And you got to be careful this time of year. But is that not great? This time of year is awesome doing that in just one afternoon. Good job, Donnie and Lisa Chapman. Okay. All right, here we go. Good afternoon, Coach. Let me blow it up so I can read it. Okay, this is my buddy Steve Rogers. Good evening, Coach. Our front porch resident is back again. Little Miss Bluebird. Last year they did the same thing, okay? I'll move to the back porch for my morning coffee and devotion, so give her room. Another note of birds, there are many more blue jays around the house than I can remember for several years. They have nearly run all the smaller birds away. And you know they are bullies. Blue jays have always been bullies. So anyways, here they are. Right here's some pictures that Steve sent. I laugh about it because he normally does his coffee and devotion on the front porch, but now he's giving up for the bluebirds, so he's moved to the back porch. Good pictures. Our bluebirds did well this year too. Somehow I didn't get any pictures. Love this one. Okay, Jack Nichols. Okay, here we go. This is funny because both of them sent me the same thing. Jack Nichols out there in Colorado. Mary and I met up with Rusty Russell. He comes in here all the time. This is his hometown. We met yesterday at Shell Island for some fishing and kayaking. A beautiful day on the water, but the fishing was slow. San Andrew Bay is some of the prettiest water in all of Florida. And don't tell nobody. Now he travels all over. He goes to the Keys and all over. But okay, that's his. Okay, now Rusty sent this with the pictures. Rusty, a true outdoorsman, your Colorado viewer, Jack Nichols, was in town and we had a chance to meet up in the bay. Jack's wife, Mary, takes her kayak and enjoys touring while Jack fly fishes. Her kayak fits nicely into Jack's vintage Boston whaler. So let's look at these pictures here. Is that not a cool picture? Look how that is all set. The kayak fits right in there. Those Boston whalers they're a classic. Everybody, I think, is on one at one time or another if you've done a lot of fishing. But that's a good setup. And a good picture too, Rusty, that you took of them. All right, here she is in a kayak. Both of them are in heaven. I mean, really. He's fly fishing and catching some fish, and she's in a kayak just sort of paddling around. They're all true outdoorsmen. There you go. That's fun to catch on a fly. So thank you, both of y'all for sharing that. I thought that was good. Okay, I can't wait for those warm summer nights, just relaxing on the porch. 238 mosquitoes like this post. We do have that coming up. We that's the great thing about the wind, just keeping the bugs off. My good buddies over in Gaston County, McLean Edwards, went to law school, University of Florida, and they took his dad. The Edwards family and the Chester families go back several generations up there in West Gaston, but they actually went out in Texas and had a good hunt. Look at there. Larry Edwards. That's a great picture out there with wildflowers and all. Good job, McLean and Larry. Okay. Their dad was the police chief in Quincy for a long, long time. This is that What You Doing, boys. This is a pic. What You Doing fishing group. This is what you got to be on the lookout for. All these banded water snakes and all those are fine, but this is down below Howard Creek somewhere, and I blew it up a little bit to get to these moccasins. They are, this time of year, they're getting out, and they love to get out in the sun and get coiled up, and a lot of times you just flat out don't see them. If you've been out on the rivers enough, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They'll coil up, and a lot of times you reach down to tie the boat off, and man, it was scared the dickens out of you. And, all right, we're going to end on this one here because, again, what you doing, boys? I know all these boys right here, but they're grown men now. I got a call no man wants. My buddy Louis Wright, he was a good football player at Moses. He went down on the river. We jumped into action quick. After 12 hours in the water, my boy Jay Sappel came to help rescue. We appreciate you, Jay, for dropping and running. Luke and Hannibal got you back on the trailer. No man left behind. Okay, so check out these pictures. I don't know the details, but his boat turned over. I think it looks like it's down Lake Wimico maybe. This is here locally, and I don't know how this happened. Luckily, no one was hurt or anything, and but that does look like Lake Wimico, I think. They're safe back on land, and he had some people. I don't know if he left the plug out. I need to get Louis Wright to come on the show, and also some of those guys started that. Okay, so I showed the Mother's Day. So anyway, I was able to get through perfect time, and I was able to get through all of them. But you're talking about seeing a boating accident, just always be careful out there. And like I say, it looks like he maybe left the plug out. And we'll get him on the show to tell that story. All right, here we go. Let's get ready for our drawing before we go on a famous Friday fishing forecast. We appreciate the sponsors for donating this to all of us in the Panhandle viewing area. Okay, how about some fried mullet today at Gene's Oyster Bar. If you're from Bluntstown and you're Marlene Young, you can do that. But you can all do it, but she gets it for free. Marlene Young, Bluntstown. All right? And now a $20 gift certificate from Tarpon Dock Seafood. That's going to, from Weewall, Hope Gainey. All right, I got Bluntstown and Weewall. That's Calhoun and Gulf County. Let's go into Lynn Haven. How about Rusty Russell? Rusty, that's what you get for sending those pictures in and sharing those pictures with us. You get rewarded with a big red snapper. All right? We're going to take a break and come back with our famous Friday fishing forecast. Okay, welcome back and welcome to our famous Friday fishing forecast. Before we get to it, I want to talk about Monday's show. We're going to have one of our videos, one of our vintage videos. We're going to try to do one a month during our 20-year anniversary. And Monday is going to be a 2-day trip with Captain Bobo Hobbs years ago, about 10, 12 years ago. And we're going to show that for Monday's show. And that'll be our May vintage video. All right, now, I also wanted to talk about, this is always brought to us by Jessica Ling Insurance and Financial Group out of Lynn Haven. Good folks there. I need to get Jessica back on the show. She's been hitting it hard. They've been doing really good. All right, here's things. I wrote down all kinds of things last night. One of the things I want to talk about, we got all this rain and all this stormy kind of weather, what we call unsettled weather. Well, and you don't want to get sort of in open water, so you always revert back. And I wrote down 3 places. The intercoastal, the bridge, surf fishing, and pier fishing. I actually wrote down 4 for this weekend. So that way you can go and fish a little bit, bad weather coming, and run back to the truck. So, but the intercoastal, I hadn't talked a lot about it, and I want to sort of hit on it. One area I'm always talking when I go to intercoastal, somehow I'm drawn to West Bay. I think I'm so familiar to the West Bay area. From there to Choctawhatchee Bay, I very seldom talk about the intercoastal on the eastern end of our viewing area, but I want to go to it. Let's go to Lake Wimico. Here's Lake Wimico right here. Lake Wimico is, and that's a beautiful place to fish. And then of course the intercoastal, it connects to White City right up here, top left-hand corner. We all know that, and there's really good fishing in there. But one of the most beautiful trips you can take on a boat if you're boating or fishing, go from Wimico down to the Big River. Okay, this area through here on the Jackson River. Okay, Jackson River actually is the intercoastal, and it goes into the Apalachicola there. But it's really just a beautiful, beautiful trip going through here and then coming on down to Apalachicola. But what I want, if you get a chance to do some fishing, but the intercoastal waterway should be in pretty good shape as far as the rain and all, not really messing up right now. Okay, the second place is the bridges. You know the bridges we talk about. The fish off the bridge. Bridge fishing should be really decent this weekend. So that'll be a good place. Again, you can get back in, if it's too windy or something, you can get back into your truck. And the third place I wrote down, surf fishing. I just got a report. I didn't get to talk about it, get to show the pictures. The report from St. George Island, some folks down there fishing at the state park, surf fishing. And they said that Pompano, the last couple of days were in shallow. I sort of get tickled because they sort of move back and forth. Remember last week on my Pompano trip, I got them out pretty far. Okay, we sort of cast out pretty far, and that's where they were. And I talked to some other people that had the same experience. Now, this week, they come in shallow. And that's the thing about the pompano. They'll come, first of all, they'll come in waves. You know, it came in about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it sort of slowed down, and then it picked back up. So there'll be wave after wave of pompanos that come through. And then they'll sort of hang around if the bait's there. And speaking of bait, this week, I've marvel is the word I use in outdoors, because I really do, at the amount of bait fish that's coming to our bait systems. And they really, I can tell, I don't have to look on the radar or anything like that. I just, all I gotta do is look outside and see those birds, those pelicans, and those birds diving down. And you see them circling, then they make that dive. That's one of the coolest things of nature to me, to watch those pelicans dive. Those bait fish been up in North Bay, so I know if they're up in North Bay, they're over in East Bay, they're up in Saltahatchee Bay, because the water temperature went up like that. So stay on top of the birds. That's how Hawk Massolini got the nickname Hawk, and he didn't have any fish finding machine. Pier fishing, like I said, is good. They've got called pompano, really nice pompano off the pier. Also, they've caught some kings off the pier, and that's been really good. Also wanted to touch base on the, I think the surprise really this time of year has been the flounder. You just saw the picture of the flounder, Carl Andrews and his brother, but a lot of folks have shown some nice flounder fishing. So Joe Eddy is the one to put in the floundering lights. Carl sent me a text about 2 weeks ago. Who's the guy you talk about? I said, Joe Eddy. He has a paint body shop, but he does that on the side. He does a great job on the actual doing the lights and all. Okay. So anyway, we're going to we got all kinds of things going on as far as fishing this weekend, even with the bad weather. But like I said, the surprise fish has been the flounder, the good sized flounder. Now, the other good news is some nice mullet have been caught. You saw J.B. Hillard catching how many, 40 or 50 with a gold hook. All we got to do is find those little floundering holes, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So fishing, in spite of the bad weather, has just been outstanding. Speaking of outstanding, I feel like we've had a really outstanding week. We really enjoyed having Dr. Sinceri on. Got J.B. Hillard coming on next week, some other guests. So if you got some interesting stuff to share with us, give us a call. You have a great weekend. Enjoy the great outdoors. Do something good for someone else today, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.